So what we have here is the initial bay, and then we're going to do the door. Okay, so from this corner, I'm going to create a line here that will be used as my guide and reference. And I need to offset this by 2 feet 4 inches. So you can see here, the distance from that corner is 2 feet 4 inches for the door opening, start of the door opening. Okay, so again, offset is my friend. I'm just going to offset this by 2 feet 4 inches. Enter. And then I'm going to offset it again by 3 feet 4 inches, which is the door opening size. Okay, so I'm just going to hit the space bar or enter key to end the offset command, and then hit that again. So double space bar to end and then to restart the offset command. And then this time, the reason why I did that is because I'd like to change the offset distance to 3 feet 4 inches. Okay, there you go. So now I have the opening, door opening, and the middle of that will be my mirror line. Okay, so this time I'm going to use my other friend, trim. So trim and offset are my friends. I'm going to trim those. I can trim, erase that. And I can also trim and erase this, right? I can trim and erase that. I don't need that. I will be using my wall here, so I don't need this as well. So I can trim and erase that. And this one I will keep for now, okay? Okay, so next, the wall inside, if you investigate, is also kind of symmetrical. So here, notice from the interior face of the wall, we have 13 feet 3/4 inches to the beginning of this interior wall. Likewise, here, from the interior side of the wall to the exterior side of this interior wall is also 13 feet and 3/4. That means this washroom, men's and women's, are actually right at the center. So I can place that or do one and then do another mirror. Okay, so which I will do. Okay, so first I'm going to offset this line by 13 feet and 3/4 inches. To do that, I'm just going to hit escape to cancel and then do an offset. But notice that this line is a continuous line, right? So maybe I'll just trim this so it doesn't offset twice. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. And then likewise here, I'd like to trim this because this is not the actual location of the wall. That has been offset. I'm going to rely on this wall right here. In fact, I'm going to delete that. I'm just creating half. Okay, so I don't also need this. That was done, or there was an offset because of the continuous line made by the rectangle. So now that I have trimmed those, I'm now going to, I do know that this is the endpoint of my exterior wall. So that's this corner right here. Even if I deleted the line, I still have that point right there. So I'm still good with that endpoint. Okay. Next, I'm going to do an offset, 13 feet. Okay. and 3/4. So how do I do 3/4? So let's try this, 3-4. So I don't have a whole number. Can I just place 3-/4? Uh, yep, it did accept it. Okay, so that's 13 feet 3/4. So I'm going to, okay, offset that. And then the interior wall thickness is, where can we find it? Right there, right? 4.5. So that will be uh, typical, 4.5, similar to the 10.5 for the exterior wall. So 4.5 will be the thickness of our interior wall. So I'm just going to hit space bar again. Again, the first space bar is to end the offset command. The second space bar is to restart the last command. The last command being offset. So it just repeats or restarts the offset command. So 4 inches and dash to separate the whole number from the fraction. So 1/2. I don't have to place the quote mark. Okay, so I'm just going to offset this like so. And then I'm going to create a line right here. That will be the exterior wall. So I don't know how far it will be. So I'm just going to draw one line right there. And I can offset that, but I'll just draw another line. So that will be my new exterior wall. And the reason I deleted that is because it was connected to this line and it will make an offset that I will need to erase anyway. So no need for that. Next, I'm going to offset this by 5 feet 6 inches. Okay, so offset by 5 feet 6. Okay, that's actually enough. Enter. And here you go. Now, should I do the 4.5 again? Really not, right? I don't have to because, like I said, all I need is to uh, make half. And by doing that, I'm actually uh, just doing the half of this building. Okay. So next, what do I do next? Uh, so I'm going to do the distance from the interior side of the this wall down, and that is uh 6 feet 6 inches. Okay, so from here down, that's 6 feet 6 inches. So let me do that. Offset by 6 feet 6. Again, I do not have to place the quote 4 inches. So 6 feet 6 inches going down, and then offset this by 4.5. So space bar, 4-1/2. Enter. Okay. So, and then I'd like to clean it up a little bit. Okay. So clean it up a little bit uh, by using my friend, the trim command. So I'm just going to trim this. Okay. And then I don't want to trim this yet. So I can do that next. And then here, for the opening of the door, we don't really know how far this is, right? So in that case, I can provide a distance. If it's not given, you can provide a distance. You can measure it from, you look at your door. How far is the door from the wall perpendicular to it? I would say about 2 inches is enough, maybe 3. Okay, so let's do that. So this is the interior face of this wall. So I'm just going to offset that by 3 inches. So 3, like so. And then the wall or door opening is 2 feet 4 inches. So I'm going to hit space bar again, and place here 2 feet 4 inches. There you go. And then space bar to end the command, and then TR space bar to trim. Oops, sorry, not that. Undo, trim this, and then trim that. Nice. Okay. So, and I can also trim this. Okay. Now, this is okay, the opening for the door. So this is again, like I said, 1/2. So I can uh, trim this. So I don't need that. And do I do a mirror now? Not yet. So sometimes you're inching to complete the drawing, but it's best to, if you have a strategy, to complete the door first, the windows, and then because they are symmetrical, right? So things that are symmetrical. So we have this line. If I mirror this, it will provide that line. I have this line right here. If I mirror that, I'll have that line. Uh, but if I place the door and the windows, when I issue the mirror command, it will actually create these two windows immediately. So why mirror it now? Work on the window and doors first. That's what we're going to do next. Okay. So we're here. I can do the wall here, but I'm more interested in doing the windows first. Okay. So I'm going to trim this. Okay. Trim that to show me the openings for the window. And for the window, hit escape to cancel that trim command. I can open the drawing with layers. This is actually a um, imperial drawing, right? So this is an imperial drawing. I can recycle. So whatever you have for your from your uh, previous classes or previous drawings, you can use. So I can copy this, Control C, select and copy, and I can bring that in here. Okay, so bring that in here, and the opening is at 6 feet. So I need to resize this. Now, if you have a block, the size of which is, let's say, uh, let's look at the size of this wall. So this wall is only 8 inches. Ours is 10 and a half. So we're missing an inch and a half, 2 inches and a half. So we have to resolve that. Likewise, this here is 6 feet 2 inches. So we're over by 2 inches. Okay, so we have to resolve that as well. No problem. So all we need to do is, number one, I'd like to clean this up. So I'd like to delete these lines. So erase or hit the delete key. The reason is I already have a line there, and that belongs to the wall. Whichever is thicker, that line should be the line that you will be using. So this one is the wall line. That's where the window will be placed. So I'm just going to use that. Likewise, okay, uh, I can. delete this as well. Okay. So we're good so far in terms of the lines at both ends. Next, I'm going to uh, use a line. I'm going to create a line and offset that by 6 feet. Okay, so 6 feet is somewhere here, right? That means I'm over by 2 inches. So I'm going to make this shorter by using the stretch command. The way stretch command works is you create a window, okay? So window, crossing window. So you should see the green. Anything that it crosses, it will stretch, okay? So I'm going to click here and I'm going to stretch it from here to, okay. So notice that it is also stretching the line that we created, but that's okay. I can stretch it to here. Okay, so that point is still present and I can simply delete this. Okay, now one way of doing it is let's undo the stretch. I can stretch including this line. I can stretch that so that will be within the box, the green box. Because it is within the green box, it will simply move. I still have that intersection, so I can click there and I can then delete these 2 lines. Okay, and you always want to verify at the beginning. This should now be 6 feet, so perfect. Okay, now, and I don't have the lines here, but that's okay. uh, I do need this to be rotated. So what I can do is copy this and rotate. So copy first, copy this from here to maybe here, just beside that, and then rotate, RO, rotate all of this here to 90 degrees. Okay, next. Next, I want this to be placed from the midpoint of this. There's no line there. From the midpoint to the midpoint of this line right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say move, move, and then shift right click mid between 2 points. So I want the base point of my move to be the middle of the two points. So mid between 2 points. So first mid, I think I'm still in the select object. Let's do that again. Move. Okay, let me move this and then enter. Okay, now that I'm in the, it's asking for the base point. I'll do a shift, right click, mid between 2 points. And the 2 points that I want will be this endpoint here and that endpoint there. That brings me or gives me the middle of those 2 points as my base point. Okay, and then I'm going to move it here at the base point. There you go. Now, I could leave it like that, 8 inches, or I can also move this to the end. Depends on the design. I'm happy with that, but if we simply move this, that might be similar to how our drawing looks like. Okay, so all I need to do is move those two. Okay, now, and then I can move this to here, but which is easier to copy and then rotate this, move, so you don't have to do the move, or simply move this and then move the green lines. I think that's easier. So I'm just going to move this. Again, decide which one is easier. Okay, base point, again, shift, right click, select mid between 2 points, select those 2 points. It attaches to the middle of those 2 points. and then mid of this line. Okay. So notice if I'm going to redo all of this here, it will take you a while. So simply complete as much as you can, and then you can uh, mirror. So hold your horses and complete this one side first. Okay, so move, space bar, and move. Okay. Next, I want to do the door. And if I go here, is there a door I can copy? Well, they do have a door right here. It's a simple door, but I guess I can just simply make the door from scratch. Okay. I can copy that, but these doors are, uh, well, I can rotate them. I guess, what's the distance? This is 2 feet 4 inches. Our door is 3 feet 4 inches, but we can use this door for the interior. It's the same. So let's reuse this. Okay, so copy. Uh, Select first and then copy. Control C and then put it here. Control V. Okay, there you go. So I can use this. Rotate this like so, and then move this from here to there. Okay. Now, in our drawing, it gives us a double door. I actually don't like double doors like that, double lines or showing the panel. Uh, Line thickness, like magenta, is good. Okay. And then this one here uh, is red, so it's lighter. But in most cases, I actually prefer this to be gray, much thinner. So red or gray should be good. Magenta for the door is also okay. Okay, so can we use that here? Well, that's 3 feet, so maybe not. So I'm just going to uh, go to the door layer and create a line that is 3 feet 4 inches long. Okay, there you go. So it's a bigger door. Next, I'm going to draw the arc, and I'm going to change this to gray. It's still in the door layer, and I'm going to use this here, the start, center, end. Now, arcs go counterclockwise. Okay, so that's the case. It's asking for the start point. So counterclockwise is going this way. So I'll click this as my start point. Okay, this as my center. And there you go. See, it goes counterclockwise. So if you go this way, it still goes counterclockwise. Okay, so make sure you don't click this as your start. Otherwise, your arc will go this way. You can also create a circle. The radius is 3 feet 4 inches, and then do a trim. But this is how you do the arc command. Okay, so end that there. Okay, so next, do I trim this? I think I should, right? I'm going to trim this. I'll trim this as well, clean it up a little bit. So trim that. I don't need that. And then this one here, I can trim up to here. Okay. And then I can erase this. No, I think I need that. Uh, uh, that's okay. I think I can maybe, yeah, maybe that, maybe that's all I need to do right now. So, am I ready to mirror now? Yes, I am, right? So I'm ready to mirror. Should I trim this? Nope. Or maybe yes. Yeah, maybe just trim that. I could have uh, maintained that, but that's okay. And then I use the mirror command. MI is the shortcut for mirror. So you can find that here under the home tab. You'll see there mirror, right? But like I said, it's always faster to use your shortcut key. So MI, enter. And then what do I need to mirror? I need to mirror this, not those two lines. I need to mirror this. Okay. Likewise, mirror this, maybe this. Okay. I don't need to mirror this. And then here, I need to mirror this. I don't need to mirror that. Actually, I don't need to mirror this, but I need to mirror this now. Now, so if I mirror this, there'll be a duplicate. Okay, but that's okay. Uh, I'll do that. Now, where will my mirror line be? My mirror line is at the middle of this door. Okay, so enter, shift right click, mid between 2 points. There you go. So that's my mirror line. And there you go. Right? Almost done with the windows and the door at the washroom. So erase source object, no. And then I can clean this up. Trim, trim that, trim this. Okay. And then I can erase this. I don't need that. And erase this. I don't need that. And then enter or space bar. I do know that there's a duplicate here because I selected it, so I can delete the one duplicate. Always delete the duplicate, or you can also issue the overkill command. Overkill deletes overlapping lines. Okay, so you can also do that. So keep track of your lines. And again, by the way, windows, these are the colors, right? Green, right? So you had the frame at the bottom, that's green. This frame here, actually, I prefer this to be uh, magenta. So this belongs to the window layer, A01 win. Okay. I don't know why it's not in the A01 win. So this one belongs to the A01 win layer, and it should be magenta. I prefer that to be magenta. I think the wall should have a thicker line. Okay. So I made the mistake of not doing that earlier. So I have to pay for that by doing it manually. So again, this should be in the window layer, color magenta. Color magenta. Okay. So my mistake, but that's okay. See how much time I am spending because of that mistake. So efficiency. Okay, this should belong to the window layer. And the color is magenta. And I have to do that here. Okay, so this belongs to the, see, window with the color blue doesn't select the lines that are crossing the box, the window, only those that are within the window. So that's a difference. There's a difference there. So window magenta. Okay. And then from here, I can now finish this wall. So this is 12 feet, 8.5 from the outside. So be careful. Look at where it is pointing to. So from the exterior side of the exterior wall. Okay, 12 feet, 8.5. So offset by 12 feet, 8 dash 1 slash 2 inches. Okay, so right there. Okay, and then the thickness of the wall is 4.5. So offset again or space bar 4 dash 1/2. Okay, like so. And then uh, where does this end? This ends right here. From the interior face to that intersection is 9 feet 5 1/4. Okay, space bar, 9 feet 5 dash 1/4. Okay, so interior. Okay, there you go. And then from that intersection, we create a line that is 45 degrees. Okay, 45 degrees. Okay, so we go here, 45 degrees. Click. Okay, and then, oops, sorry. Line from here, 45 degrees. Enter. Now, this, see, now I have to change it to the wall layer by layer. Okay. I could have done that earlier, but that's okay. And then from here, I need to offset that by 4 dash 1/2, which is the thickness of the interior wall. And then trim. Okay, so now I can trim this. Now, if I hold down the shift key, see, notice instead of trimming, it extends. Okay, so by holding down the shift key, instead of trimming, it extends. There you go, nice. I can trim erase this, trim erase that, trim erase this. Okay, and likewise here, I can trim or use the fillet command. But because I'm in the trim command already, I'm just going to use that or this command. Okay, trim. There you go. Then I can trim this. Okay, clean this up a little bit, trim that, and then add that line right there. Okay, maybe trim this first. Okay, to clean it up. Likewise, trim this. Okay, and trim that. So clean it up. Okay, escape or space bar to end that trim command. Go to wall by layer and then draw this line right here. Okay, we're almost there. Now, we'll do the wall here. It says this one is 10 feet, 10 1/2 away. 10, 10.5. Okay, so offset by 10 feet, 10 inches, dash 1/2. So offset this right there. Next, this is 7, 7.5 from the interior. Okay, space bar, 7 feet, 7 dash 1/2. Enter. So this one goes here. Okay, and this is 4 feet from after 4.5, which is the thickness of the wall. So I'll do the 4.5 first. Maybe trim this first. Trim. Okay. I'll erase that later. And then offset this by 4 dash 1/2, which is the thickness of the interior wall. Okay, it goes down. And then this one here, 7 feet, it goes out. So this one goes out. Goes out. So you need to verify, right? So 7 and 1/2 is to the interior face. So the 4 and 1/2 goes outside. Okay. Now, what do I do next? I can trim trim this, and then hold down the shift key, trim extend. Okay. And then 4 feet down, so offset by 4 feet. Make sure don't forget the apostrophe. Down. Okay. And then can I do a trim extend? Yes, I can do for that one, but can I do it for here? For this line, no, because it actually doesn't recognize this as a boundary. So instead, going to do the fillet command, and the radius of our fillet is 0. That's the reason why if I click this 2, it will actually connect, and then I can trim this. There you go. Then I just need to select and erase this. Delete. What else are we missing? Aha, so we're missing the door. So we'll add the door here. We're missing a door here as well. This door is 3 feet. This one is 3 feet 4 inches. And see, our door in the interior doesn't have the frame. So that's the reason why I didn't put the frame here anymore, to be consistent. So always be consistent in your drawing. If you add the frame here, you should add the frame there as well. Okay, so we're not adding that for now. So let's finish the wall here first for the coat rack. So this here is 2 feet 7 inches. So I'm going to say offset by 2 feet 7 inches. There you go. And then what do I do next? I can trim, extend this. Okay. And I can trim, extend this 1, 2. Okay. And then I can trim this. There you go. And then I can likewise trim this too. Okay. And then for the code track, it doesn't give us a dimension, but normally this will be so 2 feet, I suppose, is okay. Or yep, 2 feet. So offset by 2 feet right there. And because this is a coat rack, the thickness, I can place it under the wall layer, but I'll make it a little lighter. Okay, so magenta. And then there's a hidden line next to that. So I'm going to uh, offset that by, let's just say, 2 inches. Okay. And for this one here, the line type should be hidden line. So I'm going to go to the hidden. Now, if you don't have this, you can click on other and then load. Now, do not load, because this is Imperial, do not load the AutoCAD ISO. That's used for metric. So you can go down and load the hidden. So you can type H or simply drag this down. I think we have hidden 2 loaded here. So that's okay. Hidden 2. Or you can select hidden, click OK. Once it gets loaded, you can select that, yeah, and set current, or you can select this, and because it has been loaded, you should be able to see that here. Okay, so which one do you prefer? I think I prefer hidden too. Now, and because that is a hidden line, I'll use gray for that. So lighter gray or red. Okay, and then next, I'm going to create a line from the middle of this, and it should be at a 45-degree angle. Okay, so I'm just going to make a line up to that point, and then offset this by half of 3 feet. So I can say offset by 3 feet divided by 2. 3 feet divided by 2. Enter. Doesn't allow that. Requires 2 points. It's asking for half of 3 feet. So I'm just going to say 1.5 or 6 inches. It doesn't like my math operation. So that's okay. So offset by 1 foot dash or 6 inches, 1 foot 6. There you go. So 1 foot 6 here, 1 foot 6 there. Oops. 1 foot 6 there. Where is it? Okay, there. Okay. I hope it didn't repeat. Did it repeat here? Yes, that's where the line was going. So let me delete. See? No, okay. And then I can trim this, trim that. Okay, I can trim that. And then draw my line. So line, I want to be in the door layer. Okay, by layer, line from here, 45 degrees, 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet. Enter. And then remember the arc goes counterclockwise. So I'm going to say arc. Okay, start. This is my start point. This is my center. And then it goes counterclockwise. There you go. And I'd like to change that to gray. Okay. Next, I'm just going to add again 3 inches from here, similar to what I did for this door. So that's 3 inches away. So I'm just going to say offset by 3. There you go. And I'm going to extend this to the exterior face, and then say trim this. I'm going to trim that, and then offset it by 3 feet 4 inches. Okay, so that's the 3 feet at 45 degrees door. And then this one will be 3 feet 4 inches. So offset this by 3 feet 4 inches. Enter. Select. Then trim the R, trim that. Okay. And then create a door from here. Actually, because I have a door here that's 3 feet 4 inches, I'm just going to copy this from here to here. And then I'm going to mirror. Just going to mirror this from here to there. This time I would say delete or erase source object. Anytime you can use objects that you have created before, go ahead and use it. Okay, now I can erase this. And this one here, okay, should be, I should trim this. Trim. No, I don't need to trim it. But somehow there's one line that's going over. So I'm just going to make that smaller. Just a second. Is there a duplicate here? Nope. So that's okay. Now I'm going to go to my what layer? Counter, or I think that's contour. So uh I'll place it in the wall layer as well. That's okay. So I'm just going to make one line here and then offset this by 2 feet. That's the size of the counter. Okay. 2 feet and then trim. Okay. And then I'm going to change this to gray and then fill it this with a radius of 3 feet 1.5. So radius of counter 3 feet 1.5. So I'm going to say fillet this time with a radius of not 0 but 3 feet uh, and 3 feet 1/2. Okay, select the two and you get that filleted. Okay. Last thing that we need to do is to add the water closet and the sink. So let's go here. And we do have a sink right here that I can copy. So this one here and then this one here. I can Control C, copy, select, then Control C, and then Control V. Okay. So I can place this here for now. This one I need to rotate. So rotate this from here to, so how many degrees? Okay, so I do not know. So what I'm going to do is use the reference option. The reference angle is this, and then keep it or make it straight. So reference. Again, rotate, select, and then there's the option base point, and then reference. Okay. Now I'm just going to move. I'm going to move this from midpoint to somewhere here. So near, NEA, near, somewhere here. Okay. So near here. And then move this one here from midpoint to somewhere near NEA, somewhere here. Okay. So, okay. And then all I need to do is now mirror. So I should have done this earlier. So I could have added that in the mirror operation, but that's okay. There you go. That's all we need. That's completed. That's how I would do. There are things that I could have done that could have made it more efficient, like the changing of the color of this frame to magenta. This one here, I could have added it first before the mirror command. So complete everything before you mirror. Okay. So that's the end of exercise 1.